Hello, everyone. We're excited to have you here today with us. We're letting several folks still come on into the webinar here, but super excited to go over the content for today's webinar. We'll go ahead and get started shortly. My name is Paul Baldridge. I am the Director of Business Development and Mobile Client Engagement. And to all of our customers and valued clients that are joining the call today, we present to you the Results Direct and RD Mobile's newest Engagefully app highlights and what's on tap for 2026. So on an annual basis, we do this webinar for our customers to kind of go over a year in review with exciting things that took place in 2025, recent enhancements to features, functionality of the Engagefully platform, and then we will kind of take a look into the future as to what's on tap for development purposes for 2026. A couple of housekeeping items before we get started here. The first thing is that this webinar is being recorded, and a recording will be sent post-webinar. So probably tomorrow you'll all receive a recording of this. Next, we will be taking and answering questions at the end of the webinar, so please use the Q&A feature within the Zoom platform, and we'll be sure to address your questions at the end of this particular webinar. Now I'd like to introduce you to today's speakers. We have Michael Jones, our VP of Mobile Technology. He will be going over some of the enhancements that took place in 2025 with the Engagefully platform. He will also then go over some of the items that are on tap for 2026. We have Cecilia Satovich, our Chief Revenue Officer. She will be going over some key analytics with us and some other items pertaining to features. Trinisha Forbes, our Director of Mobile Services, will then go over some of the enhancements and updates to our support team. And then they'll pass the mic back to me, your MC, to kind of go over how our clients can fully maximize return on investment with the Engagefully platform. So with that said, here are the topics that we'll be covering today in our very informative and educational webinar today. So the first is Cecilia is going to discuss the Engagefully metrics, analytics, and some of the key features that our customers are using to leverage the Engagefully platform to the fullest. Next, Michael will talk about the platform updates, as well as what's next, what's on tap for 2026. Trinisha, again, will then go into the support enhancements with her team and how we're kind of maximizing our support services for our customers. And then it'll be passed over to me to go over how to maximize return on investment with the Engagefully platform, whether you're using Engagefully for events, maybe you're using Engagefully 365 just for the year-round member content and features and functionality of that, or perhaps you're an Engagefully 365 with an events license customer. I will go over all of those items. And then lastly, we'll leave about 15 minutes or so to answer questions that you folks have during today's webinar. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Cecilia to talk about some of the key metrics and usage stats. Cecilia, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Paul. So everyone on this call is already familiar with Results Direct and RD Mobile through our event apps and our year-round member engagement apps. But you might not know that we actually got our start 30 years ago in website design and development, and that's still over half of our business today. And you don't have to have worked with us on website design and development in order to get some help with your website. We can also help with analytics. We can help with usability studies. So if you're looking to get more from the life of your website, we can help there. We also recently added AI solutions to our offerings for associations, and I'm really excited about some of the opportunities there. Lots of things that we can do in terms of helping you with AI, whether you're focused on an internal implementation or an external implementation, something that would be useful for your members. So if that's an area of interest, please do keep us in mind, even though you know and love us through the event app and member apps. So let's talk about RD Mobile by the numbers. There's over 450 app clients, customers today, and thank you so much for choosing us. We've seen over 1.8 million app downloads, which is fantastic. 1,100 events so far this year. There's still several hundred more to go. And one of the things that I'm most proud of with the app is that the app can be used whether you're a small organization running smaller events or one-day events that have 100 attendees, or whether you're using it for really large events. So the event with the most app downloads so far this year had 46,000 downloads. And the event that had the most sessions was 6,200 sessions. That was over 5 days, and does not include their posters. So, please do keep us in mind if you're already using us for events, or you're using us for member engagement, and you're thinking about, how can we work with Results Direct differently. We've done a lot to enhance the product to work flexibly for everybody. And so some of those enhancements, here we go. If you're not already using the appointment scheduler, that is a terrific revenue opportunity. And Michael Jones is going to talk a bit more about each of these things and more. Speaker and exhibitor portal. A lot of folks are already using that, but if you have not used it yet, fantastic. Will make updating your event so much easier. Attendee QR codes makes networking a lot easier for your attendees and potentially your exhibitors. And then, of course, year-round content and community and conversations are some new enhancements that we've added to the product this year, and Michael will talk more about that. So with that, I will hand it over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Cecilia. That's great. And yeah, it is great to be here with you all, and obviously so many familiar names on the list right now. So, but yeah, this is kind of my favorite time of year. We get to talk about all the cool stuff that our team's been doing in terms of new product development, improvements, new features, and so I'm thrilled to go through some of that with you all here today. My disclaimer is we did a lot this last year. And we are not going to cover everything on this webinar. So we will hopefully hit on the big items, some of the ones that we feel like will have the most impact. But I do encourage everybody to go to the knowledge base, go to the release notes, and you can get all of the granular detail on all of the updates we've done so far this year. As far as getting started, I wanted just really briefly, before we talk about those enhancements, just to do a quick review of the Engagefully 365 ecosystem, and how it can be leveraged to better engage your attendees and members throughout the year. We realize that engagement is the lifeblood of our organizations. It's extremely important because it drives a lot of key metrics at your organizations. And so a lot of our clients, they're really leveraging these tools to increase their membership, to increase their retention of their existing members. They're using it in many cases to bring in new revenue sources, obviously very important these days, and then really just to drive, industry growth and innovation. And so just again, as just a quick framework of strategy as we go into this, one of the things that we've realized as an organization is that engagement really only happens in three places. It's going to be on your member's computer, it's going to be on your member's phone, or it's going to be at an in-person event. And that is really why, as an organization, we have focused on providing solutions and technologies to let you better engage your peoples in those three areas. And one of the things we've also really looked at is what type of engagement activities are there, like where engagement happens, but also what type of engagement happens. And really, there's just a couple of major buckets, if you will, that engagement activities fall into. One of them is going to be your communication. And what we've really seen is that, the big opportunity for many organizations is to leverage their members' mobile devices to improve in these four areas. So for communications, for instance, that not just delivering emails, but being able to deliver push notifications year round. And so that would be through our Engagefully 365 product that many of you have. Delivering your year-round content. So you have all these great resources that you develop, putting it in your members' hands, again, through our Engagefully 365 product. Conferences, obviously, most all of you actually use this for conferences. Like, there's very few of you that don't use the product for conferences at this point. So that's one, obviously, we've done a ton of updates in, and we'll go through those in just a minute. And then community. A lot of you have communities, digital communities. And so bringing community to the devices where really most activity in communities happen anyway. And this is something we've done a lot of development over this last year. We have several different solutions. And so, whether you're bringing one of these items or all four of them to your engagement strategy, that is what the Engagefully 365 platform is here to really help you to do at a higher level. So, because I got them all to start with the letter C, I call these the 4 C's of engagement, and we've made updates in all of them. And one thing I will say is that as we go through these updates, if there's areas that you're not taking full advantage of, we would love to have a strategy conversation about it. So if you are just using the platform for events, but you'd like to figure out how could we incorporate our community into here, we'd love to talk. Or if you're, just using it for year-round content and you want to bring in your community or bring in your events, we'd love to talk through that. So we're going to start off with conferences and events because that is the bulk of the customer base uses this. So, and we're again not going to cover everything. I'm just going to go through 4 major updates for the sake of time. And the first one is going to be our speaker and self-service portals, our speaker and exhibitor portals. We're going to talk about hosted appointments and some improvements there. We're going to talk about improvements to our on-site engagement tools. And then my favorite one, which is we've got a bunch of new reporting that's come out and it's helping people get better analytics. So let's start with the new speaker self-service portal. So this was one of the items that was most requested over the last, I would say, probably 2 years. And we actually launched it about 10 months ago. Since then, it's gotten some great use. We have gotten some great feedback on it and a couple of details around it. So first of all, it can be configured per event. So you can set it up for some events, not others. It can basically be accessed then by associating the speaker records with their corresponding speaker registrant record. And what that's going to allow is for speakers to log in and be able then to go in and update their profiles, their contact information. They can even upload resources to the sessions that they've been assigned to. So again, it's just designed to take some of that workload off of your plate and being able to delegate that out to speakers. We even have included some admin tools so you can put messaging on the portal that you want your speakers to see and set deadlines for access and things like that. So really happy with the first version of this. This is one of the features we're looking at improving over this next year as we're getting feedback. So for those of you that are using it, please keep that feedback coming to us. All right, so the next one we want to talk about is some enhancements to the exhibitor self-service portal. And this was based on a lot of feedback from some of you on the call today. And so what we wanted to do was, again, figure out ways to make it even easier to manage. And so one of the things we did was make an update where now if you assign one exhibiting staff member to the portal that they can go in and log in, they now have the ability, they can assign additional staff members to their exhibitor listing as long as they've already registered. So they can't just assign random people. But if, let's say that a company is sending 5 people, now you can assign one of them and say, okay, go pick out the other people that you're going to have. A lot of this was just due because, we all wish that the exhibitors would do everything right away when we tell them to, but we find out often they wait till the last minute. And so this was just a way to kind of give a little bit more of that responsibility over to them. And then we also added the ability to print off their own QR codes now for the on-site exhibitor check-in feature. So that again drives lead generation. It's part of our gamification system. And so that's again just something to make it a little easier for staff. So those are a couple of updates. Again, if you have feedback on the exhibitor portal, we're really excited to hear that as well. All right, so the next thing is we wanted to also make it easier to communicate with your speakers and your exhibitors that are using these portals. And so we implemented over the last year a new email follow-up email component. And so what this allows for is one tap access. So now you can basically send a note out to your speakers, you can send an email out to your exhibitors, And in that email, there is a unique login link. They will tap it. It will take them directly into the portal. If they happen to be a speaker and an exhibitor, it'll actually let them, go back and forth and pick which one they want to be a part of. So we just wanted to provide that one-touch access to your speakers and exhibitors. All right, so that's that topic. Let's move on, and we're going to talk a little bit about hosted appointments. And this feature, as Cecilia said, this one was adopted very quickly by a really good number of organizations that we work with. This was originally launched late in 2024. And so what we've been doing is making improvements to it over this past year, based again on feedback. Just as a recap for those of you that may not be familiar with this feature. So in the schedule section, obviously you've got your sessions, but you also have the ability to display appointments in the main schedule. And there's 3 types of appointments currently. The first one is personal appointments. So that's where you click the little plus button up at the top of the schedule, and the individual person can add an appointment to their own schedule. They control it. No one else sees it. Then there's what is called arranged appointments. And those are appointments that you as an administrator can put on people's schedules for them. They can neither edit it nor change it, and only specific people will see the ones that you've assigned to them. And that gets used a lot for congressional fly-ins and things like that. And then the new feature was hosted appointments. And this allows for you as an organizer to create a block of meeting times, configure sort of the details around those. But then you can assign one group of people to be hosts and another group of people who can book meetings with hosts. And the hosts have the ability to kind of block off unavailable times and have some control of their schedule. And this was really designed, its primary use case was going to be for exhibitor meetings and demos. And so we've seen some great usage for that. And there are some specific features built into it, like invitations and, max and min appointment counts and things like that. But the idea being that it really facilitates ROI for those types of meetings. However, we've seen it now being used for a whole lot of other use cases, whether that's mentor meetups or meet with product specialists or speed networking, and then even just for straight up attendee to attendee appointments. And so that's something that we've actually done some improvements on. So just to go through the things that are new, we now have the ability for the host and the participants to set their own meeting locations. That was a really big request early on. We did improve the scalability for larger events where thousands of appointments are being booked. And then we just did a whole bunch of overall performance improvements and bug fixes just to really get it, stabilized so that it does what it's supposed to do. So that's kind of an update on that. Right now, this year, again, just peek ahead at the roadmap, we are looking to make some further improvements on that attendee to attendee networking aspect of it. So more details coming out on that here as we get into 2026. All right. So let's talk about on-site engagement tools. So again, just as a quick recap, these are going to be things that include session check-in using QR codes to check into sessions for continuing education purposes, digital business card exchanges between attendees, the exhibitor check-in feature, which is a QR code at the booth or the stand where a delegate or an attendee would come up and scan that. That's used a lot of time for like a digital passport game or other gamifications and just to drive ROI for sponsors. Exhibitor lead scanning, which I will say we have some organizations that have cashed in on exhibitor lead scanning. That has probably been the largest revenue jump just in terms of the different features that we've been able to provide for organizations. So if you have an event that does exhibitor lead scanning or you want to offer that, we should definitely talk. It's a really great ROI opportunity. And so a couple of things that we've done here, just as far as improvements on this, one of the things that we heard a lot of was that the details around printing the QR codes on badges. So we've done a number of things in terms of the integration side of the house to make it easier to do on-site badge printing with the QR codes. So again, if that's something you're interested in, let us know. We can talk through that. The other thing that we've done is look at some of the newer phones and the cameras and how they work. So just improving the scanning technology itself. So a couple of quick updates on that one. All right. And then from a reporting standpoint, so we actually will wrap up. We did have two new reports that are available for the event side of the house. So the first one is a new gamification report. So it just basically helps with leaderboard participation and just makes it easier for post show, being able to award prizes or even during the event. And then the last one, which is my favorite report on the event side, is we actually have launched a whole block of new data points around push notifications and in-app notifications. And so just again, as a quick uh, explaining how this works. So inside of the app itself for the events, there is, of course, your notification section. And in there, people can go in and they can read through the messages. Push notifications is when it actually buzzes their device and from within and then, that shows up on the lock screen and they can tap it and all of that. And by the way, I will say that if you're running an event, definitely using push notifications for those is a big plus. It increases the engagement with those notifications significantly. And so a couple of things that we launched. One is now you can actually see the exact viewer count of how many devices have got the notification, which means they have the app installed, they're in the event, and they have push notifications turned on. You can also start to see things like how many people tapped on them, how many people opened the app within 12 hours, and then how many people read the notification overall. So, so this is obviously really exciting because you get to get some real analytics here. Okay, so that was our event side of the house. Moving on, so let's talk a little bit for those of you that are using either the Thrive Mobile 365 app or the Engagefully 365 app already. We have done some improvements around delivering content. And specifically today, we're going to talk a little bit about expanded SSO options, the redesign of the My Account screen, and again, some really, really cool new reports. So first off, the expanded SSO options. So right now, with the Engagefully 365 app, we have always offered the ability to make it simple for people to log in. So they put in their email address, it sends them an email, they tap the one-touch contact and they're in, or it gives them an access code. If they open it on a different device, they can type that in and they're logged in. One of the big requests that we've gotten over the last several years was, can we just let our members log in with their website credentials? And so really excited that we have opened this up now. And so again, it's not available with every CRM or AMS out there. So, but if this is one you're interested in, let us know. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if it's one of the ones that's supported. But this is going to make it so that now you can offer different options in terms of how you want folks to be able to log into the app overall. And then obviously with the Thrive Mobile 365 app, we were doing that directly through Higher Logic's login. So that one's been a lot of fun. As part of that, we also went through and did a redesign of the My Account screen, and I'm really, really happy with how that turned out. So it just makes it a lot more clear now which information is part of that user's app profile, event profile. So what's going to display when they're inside an event versus what's part of their member profile that's coming over from your CRM or your AMS. And so just really happy with, again, just kind of how the clarification there has worked out. And we've gotten really, really good feedback on that. And then finally, the new reports. So a couple of these that have been really, really insightful. So the first one is that we actually now are tracking every menu item as part of your Engagefully 365 solution in your main menu. Every item now is being tracked, so you can start to collect data on which sections of your app are getting the most usage. And again, that way you can look at it and say, well, maybe this isn't something that should be on the app, or maybe we need to raise awareness of what it is by sending out a push notification about it. But it's going to allow you to be much more targeted in your communication and what you're offering to your members. We're also now tracking app opens overall. So again, as people are just opening up the app, you can start to see what kind of usage you're getting either on a daily or a monthly basis. Both of these reports do require our 2025.v2 release to be installed on that device. So it may be that you're starting to see those upticks in the report as more and more of your users are upgrading to the new version. But that's just one important thing to consider there as you're going through that. And then the other one is in the communication bucket of our last C here, or third C of the four. This one is great because now when you send out an alert, which is a year-round push notification, you can now get exact metrics on how many devices are seeing that. So you can see how many iOS devices, Android devices, what the total number of devices that got the notification, which means, again, it's installed and they have push notifications turned on, direct responses, influence responses, and you can even go in and see for that particular alert, how many people opened it, whether it was from the push notification or just because they were browsing around. So a lot of new analytics here. All right, last of our C's to go through, community. And for this one, we know a lot of you do offer digital communities. I had a lot of conversations just in the last month with organizations who are thinking about having a digital community. And so we have a number of different options here. So we have our conversations module, and we've done some bug fixes and some performance improvements with that over the last year. Some of you have other third-party communities, and we can talk about integrating those. But the bulk of the work in 2025 in this area was to integrate the Higher Logic community natively into the platform through Thrive Mobile 365. We have been a very long-standing partner of Higher Logic and their apps going back literally almost 14 years now. But this represents really the biggest leap forward we've ever had in that partnership when we were selected to be the official Thrive Mobile 365 app. And so many of you, that this is the product that you have purchased and you're on with us today. And but for all of you who use Higher Logic, these updates are available to you. So if you've purchased Engagefully 365 or you're using this for events, but you also happen to have a Higher Logic community, let us know, because we can add this to your app to bring that community natively in. And I do want to say too that if you're part of the Thrive Mobile 365 app community, everything we've talked about thus far is also available to you. So it's all the same product, just different names, right? And so with that in mind, let's dive into a couple of these because they're actually very exciting. So what the upgrade has provided now is there is a native blended feed, community feed, available directly in the tab menu. And with that, when your member logs in, they're now going to be able to see all of the different posts that are available to them through all of the communities that they're a part of. They can filter it based on community. They can do search. They can filter it based on the type of post. So that means announcements, blogs, discussions, events, library entries, questions. All of that's available through here. We've done a lot of work to add more photos and visuals to the blended feed, because we know that's a lot of users' expectations now because of LinkedIn and Facebook. So that's been really cool. Obviously, the ability to compose native messages from within here. But the thing that I'm most excited about, just from an overall engagement strategy perspective, is that the individual users have very granular control over the types of push notifications they get from the community. So they can go in and decide, you know what, if it's something I've posted, I want to get a push notification every time there's a response across any community I'm a part of. But maybe for new discussion posts, maybe I just want it from one of my communities, not the rest of them, right? Or, maybe for, announcements. So they can go in and do things either for all communities or individual ones, but they can also even go as granular as just following individual threads. Like they're like, I just want notifications on this one thread that I want to follow. So we've really provided them a lot of tools for this. Here's why that's important, is when you start to combine some of these things together. So for instance, let's say that you use the app for your event, you get a ton of downloads because it's a great way to drive a lot of downloads. But now, because you've also integrated your community, now people are starting to get relevant information and communications from the app on a regular basis because of the communities they're a part of. And what that does is that drives that regular engagement, which now provides more visibility to your content. You've built a user base for your important organization to member communications. So it really kind of comes full circle and creates almost an exponential effect. So those are the updates there. Let me see if I missed anything. Nope, I think we're good there. So let's go ahead and just to have a peek into the future of what we're doing. So a couple of the new things that are coming out, and this is kind of a sliver of the roadmap, but but the ones that we're very excited about and are coming out sooner in the upcoming year. One of them is membership cards. So we have gotten a lot of requests for organizations wanting to display membership cards rather than printing them out and doing things like that. So that's a new feature that's going to be coming to the product here in 2026. In fact, we have already started work on it. More networking features. This is something that we have heard organizations are looking for more ways for members and attendees to engage with each other. So we're going to make improvements in that. We have new Thrive community features, again, continuing with that theme of that integration. We've got, as I mentioned at the beginning, the self-service portals. We've got some upgrades to those that we're working on. So this would be great timing for that feedback. And then the one that I'm actually most excited about, which is the new AI capabilities that Cecilia had mentioned. And to talk for a minute about that, we have a special guest speaker, our CEO,
Surprise!
yes, our CEO, Russ Magnuson. So Russ, yeah, why don't you share for a minute with folks about what we're doing in this area
Sure.
and how it's going to
Yeah,
change the world?
I'm delighted to be here with the gang, and obviously, Michael's talked. It's been a busy year, and the product continues to improve, and we're just delighted to bring those enhancements, many of them customer driven, to you. I'm just stopping by because I wanted to highlight something that we are now putting a lot of resources into development wise, and that's in new AI related capabilities. Now, this goes beyond our mobile products, and in fact, touches all of the website and all of the things we do at Results Direct and RD Mobile. And we're not new to AI. We've been working with different tools and platforms for the last couple of years. But it wasn't really until the middle of this year or so that we decided we were ready to, I guess, bring it or surface it. And that is in part with a partnership we have with a company, Pixelate, some of you may be familiar with, and their AI platform called Ready Intelligence. So we are a Ready Intelligence integration partner, and we're doing a lot of interesting things with our with both our web offerings as well as with our mobile tools. And I'm sure everybody here, I know when I walk down the sidewalk, I can't, I walk by people and you hear AI, AI. If you're in a restaurant, people are talking about AI, AI. Our focus is really to say, not to just kind of amplify all of the wonderment, if you will, but to actually zero in on some really useful and practical enhancements to the things that we're already doing. So just want to give you a little peek at where we're headed with the two mobile apps. Um, on the year-round member app side, we envision, and what we're working on now is bringing in an intelligent search into that app. And by that, I mean that, it'll be real friendly, it'll be easy. Somebody just can use natural language, like you typically see with AI assisted type queries. But behind the scenes, it will allow our customers to point at a variety of resources um, that they want to surface to their members through the app. And we really think this is going to be significant because um, the mobile user is not, is always time constrained. So we want to make it easy for them to get at the content and resources from your organization through their member app. So you're going to be seeing more on that this coming year, as well as on the Engagefully event side. We did this, we actually prototyped this, I don't know, a year and a half or almost 2 years ago, and ran a number of events with some of this, primarily with session recommendations. And then we kind of pulled back because again, we didn't feel it like it was ready for prime time, but now we do, and so it's coming back, and we're going to not only support session recommendations, but we're going to do things like making recommendations on resources. Uh, and and this is kind of a biggie, and it ties in with community and all that. But attendee matching, if you will. So when your members or when your attendees go to an event, we will have the ability to connect them to each other. Obviously, if they opt into that, to support, networking and those types of things. And then finally, there's a lot of different kinds of interesting reporting things that we're going to be doing. And so we'll be sharing more on these things as we go. And I guess just one other final note, many of the people, if you're in the Washington area, hopefully got an invite from us, but we're running a AI summit, or we're co-hosting that with our partners next week in Washington. It's an in-person event, and it's going to have some really interesting case studies from Intellios and from the Thad DeRay at the American Union. I'm sorry, gee, I should know that. Cecilia can correct me with that, but maybe I'm a little spacing on that. But it's going to be really interesting. If you didn't get an invite to that and you'd like to come, please drop us a note and we'll make sure that you do. So with that said, I'm going to hand it off to Tranisha um, Forbes, who runs our customer success managers. Yeah, the American Geophysical Union. There, I got it. So, Tranisha, take it away.
Thanks, Russ. As Russ mentioned, my name is Tranisha Forbes, and I'm the Director of Mobile Services for RD Mobile. And thank you for joining the call today. This is my favorite part of my job, getting to talk to our customers and care for them. Service is at the heart of what we do here at RD Mobile, and this year our team has been focused on expanding to meet your needs. A key piece of feedback we heard from our customers is that you wanted more time with the team. So we've expanded our service hours so that customers around the globe and in the US can get help from the team when you need it. We've also expanded the number of team members that are available to support you and added customer success managers who are deeply committed to showing you all the ways leveraging RD Mobile's platforms can push your organization's digital strategy forward. We also heard that you wanted the option to have a more guided approach around leveraging the app to get the most ROI. Whether it's getting tips for repurposing existing website content like press releases for a mobile audience, developing a long-term plan to ensure your members engage with the app year after year, or simply getting advice on the best ways to set up the app for your conference sessions and your abstracts for optimal searchability, our customers are looking to leverage our subject matter expertise in order to create the best mobile experience for your customers. So we've added consultative strategy sessions to meet this need. These strategy sessions can be tailored to the needs of your team and provide dedicated time with RD Mobile to evaluate your needs and develop a strategy for the app that you can use for years to come. If you're interested, just send us a note and we'll put you in touch with the right team member to discuss adding this option to your services. These are just a few of the changes we've made over the last year to enhance your customer service experience, and we're excited to continue growing our partnership and spending time with you in the coming year. On behalf of RD Mobile's service team, thank you for being a customer. Now to you, Paul.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for the excellent content and information that you're providing today. Now we're coming to my favorite part of the webinar, which is how we can help our customers like you maximize your return on investment with the Engagefully platform. So there's a handful of things that you can do to maximize your return on investment. And the first one would be if you're an existing Engagefully events client, the next progression would be upgrading to the Engagefully 365 year-round membership app, which allows you to engage your members year-round, as well as hosting events. The other option would be for our clients that are only using Engagefully 365 for year-round content only. You could add the events license to handle both year-round and hosting all of your events on the same platform. The next topic to enhance return on investments would be adding the hosted appointments feature to your Engagefully license. And what this will do is allow you to have one-to-one meetings, whether it's exhibitors meeting with attendees, maybe it's a speed networking session or peer networking. Our hosted appointments comes with a very nominal annual fee and is a really good way to enhance the engagement with the attendees and your other exhibitors and sponsors. If you are an existing customer that wants to add the higher logic community that was mentioned previously to your app, we can absolutely do that for you. All that you have to do is reach out to us, and we will definitely help you with integrating the higher logic community with the Engagefully platform. As mentioned previously as well, is if you're looking for additional consulting services to leverage Engagefully 365 or Engagefully events more fully, we also offer that as an option as well. And then what Tranisha just kind of mentioned is we do offer consulting services that can be tailored to meet your needs with our customer support or our customer success managers. And then the last way that our clients can maximize return on investment is something that I talk to many of you clients about is engaging with a multi-year renewal agreement. So what that allows you to do is it will lock in the pricing and then we can extend that pricing for 2 or 3 years. And for the 2 year or a 3 year renewal, there's also additional discounts that can be realized. And a lot of our customers have been taking advantage of that as of recently. So those are some of the items that you can leverage to maximize return on investment. Again, please reach out to us at any point if you'd like to have further discussions surrounding those particular topics. So, with that said, again, we thank you very much to all of our customers that joined us today. For those of you that weren't able to join, you will receive a recording. But now what we'd like to do is take a couple of minutes and open it up for Q&A. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the questions that have been coming in throughout the webinar here. We have quite a few questions actually. The first question is, and I'll let anybody on the panel answer these questions, but I'll go ahead and promote the questions. So the first one is, who should I talk to about additional training on the Engagefully platform?
Well, so we'd love to help you with any training needs. We do see, especially with events, sometimes there's turnover with the event coordinators. And so, that's something that we can help you with through the support team to do an initial kind of overview. If you needed more in-depth consulting or services around your implementation, then that's something that we would direct to Paul Baldridge to provide pricing for that training. And then from there, then you would go into Tranisha's implementation team, and customer success managers would help you with that.
Thank you, Cecilia. The next question that's come in here is a question from a customer. How much does the speaker portal cost to enable? And I can actually take that question. So the speaker portal is part of the base product itself. There's no additional cost to leverage that particular feature. The only thing is that it's disabled by default. So if you're interested in leveraging the speaker portal, please reach out to us, and all that we'll do is go into the provisioning portal and enable that feature so you can actually use that for speaker information and details.
I want to just really add something to what Paul was saying. The speaker portal is able to be turned on and off for specific events after we enable it. So if you have reached out to us and you're saying that we've enabled it, but you're not able to see it, just let us know and we can walk you through how you turn it on for a specific event.
Thank you, Tranisha. Another question that's rolled in here is, are you able to help us with marketing the app?
Absolutely. We can definitely help you with marketing the app. I know that that is an area of particular passion for Michael. So I don't know, Michael, do you want to talk really quickly about some of the capabilities in the app that support promoting the app and letting people know about it, and then maybe hand it off to Tanisha to talk about additional resources?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've put together strategies for this, literally that have been working for folks 7, 8 years now. On the event side, there's actually a help article about how to increase your app downloads and engagement at your events that is pretty comprehensive in terms of how to do that. So definitely check that article out, and of course, you can always ask us questions on that as well. And then we've also seen organizations that have been extremely effective at marketing their year-round app, to the tune of, like, you know, 90+% of members having logged into it, type of thing. So again, so we do have some of those strategies. But Tranisha, yeah, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, one of the ways that we really recommend with our team is by using the invitation emails to um, increase your app downloads, and that's part of that marketing plan. We talk about ways to set that up. So yeah, I do recommend using that support article. If you have any additional questions after reading it, you can certainly reach out to our team, and we'll happy to provide you with some guidance.
Excellent. These are great questions. Thank you, everyone. Another question that has popped up is, are there any updates onto when clients may be able to bulk upload notifications?
Yeah, so I'll take that. We're looking into it. It's one of the things we have had a couple of clients ask about, including you. And so yeah, so we're evaluating doing that. It's the key thing there is just doing it safely, because I don't want someone to accidentally bulk upload like 27 of their event notifications and then have them all go off at once. So we're just being thoughtful about as we're addressing that one.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Michael, this next one might be for you, or it could be for Tranisha. The question is, will we be able to turn off the QR codes at each individual session, or is it across all sessions?
I can jump Trinisha on this one real quick. Yeah, let's talk about what you're trying to accomplish, because with the QR codes, you don't have to display them all. So that's kind of our method of, like, which ones are on or off is based on which ones you've provided for that particular session. But if it's something that we're missing on that question, you can drop me or Trinisha a note, or email our support, and we can definitely go through that with you.
Thank you, Michael.
Mhm.
This next one I believe I can take, but the question is Member Central one of the websites you have a login integration with? And so Member Central, I'm not 100% sure if we have an active login integration with them, but regardless, all that we would need is for the API documentation to be sent to us. Then our integration specialist will review the API documentation to determine if the login integration can take place. Michael, is there anything else you need to add to that?
Yeah, I just noticed like a bunch of questions or people asking about different systems. So we will follow up with you individually on those, and we can let you know which ones we are included or which ones we need to evaluate still. We basically built it out for a couple of them already, and then we're just adding to that list sequentially. So let us know what system you have and want, and we can give you an update on whether it's yes or whether we still have to evaluate it.
Excellent. Thanks, Michael. This next one I thought was a really good question. So for the QR codes, can a client customize the scans to add varying amounts of continuing education units based on the session?
Yeah, you should send me an email, because I would like to understand what you're looking for there. The short answer is no, but I would very much, as as looking at the product roadmap, like to understand, unless Tranisha, you've got a different answer for that.
We should talk. They should reach out to us so that we can talk about what they're trying to accomplish.
Exactly. Yeah.
And do some custom fields.
Yeah.
All right. Another question that popped up is, are there any updates to the Maps integration? And my speculation is what you're talking about there is the dynamic maps, possibly, Kate. But any updates regarding Maps integrations?
Yes. So we already have standard dynamic mapping integrations with a number of different event management organizations out there. And then we also have our own built-in dynamic map tool. We are both evaluating hooking up some additional ones for integration, as well as providing some alternative options for our homegrown map option. So in fact, one of those at least is in evaluation right now. We're literally, figuring out what parts we have to wire up. So I would just say specifically, if you have one that you're looking for, let us know, and we can give you details on whether it's on the list.
Excellent. Russ, this one is for you. For those of us who can't attend the in-person event in Washington, D.C. about the new AI capabilities, will there be any type of press release or more information shared afterwards?
Great question. So first of all, the event next week is much bigger than us. It involves a number of organizations. We're one of the sponsors or hosts of it, and but it's really a summit that's going to be presenting a couple of real world case studies for AI applications that have launched and the kind of results they're bringing, and then there's going to be a panel of both association executives as well as industry experts on AI. So much bigger event than just our product, but of course we're in the middle of it. To the question about what you're going to be hearing from us over the next period of time, absolutely, we're going to have a lot more information coming out. One of the things I'd like to do is to have some customer focus groups as we're kind of prototyping and launching early release things. So if you're interested in that, specifically around AI driven features, please drop me a note. I'll put my email address back in the chat here for that.
Excellent. Thank you, Russ. Let's see here. We got some map questions that we addressed. Answered that one. Yeah, I believe that kind of satisfies the questions that we had here. If you have any more questions, though, after post webinar, please feel free to send those to us, to me directly or to Michael, and we'll be sure to get those answered. There are a couple here that we're going to respond to offline because they're very specific questions that don't really benefit the entire group here, but we'll definitely get answers to those as well.
Can I real quick, Paul? I noticed there was a couple of questions on Thrive that I just wanted to highlight real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so a couple of different things. One question was about the ability to join communities natively from the Thrive Mobile 365 app. That is coming out in our 2025.v4 release, which is actually slated to roll out in the next several weeks. So that one is definitely happening. The other one that I noticed there was just a question about what we're looking at doing in 2026. So again, I just wanted to highlight that for those of you that are using the Thrive Mobile 365 app, we have the native blended feed in place, and we are continuing to build out new features for that. However, with the integration that we have, you are able to add sections from your community directly into the main menu of your app, and it will automatically log people in and do all of that. So I saw there was a question about mentor match. That one is one we're evaluating with Higher Logic whether it would come into the native feed, but you could definitely add it now through your main menu. And then some of the ones that are slated for 2026 is looking at the directory and messaging would be the next pieces that we are looking to put into the native integration. So there was that question. And then the one more I just thought I'd mention because it came in right at the very end, but the ability to clone a core event from year to year. So we do not have currently a way to clone the entire event. However, we have the ability to take elements from within either a previous event or even a templated event that you can then import into a new event. So whether that's exhibitor lists or session lists or speaker lists or any of those type of pieces, And we continue to look at for 2026 different ways that we might make it easier to take things that you've done historically and be able to bring them into a new event. So we're still working on that. So anyway, sorry, Paul, to jump in, but I noticed those two, and I wanted to at least
No harm,
say
no foul.
something. So
Thank you, Michael. Well, excellent. Any parting words from the panelists before we go ahead and let people get back to their day? Going once, twice, three times. All right. So to everyone on the call and to those folks, anybody that registered is going to receive a copy of the recording. Again, reach out to us with any questions that you may have that pop up after the conclusion of the webinar. But we really appreciate all of you being here. If it wasn't for our customers, we wouldn't be able to have our year in review. So thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you to make Engagefully work well for you, whether it's year-round content or your events. So from all of us, have a great day and thank you.